Hi, this is Stephanie Miller from The Stephanie Miller Show. Please enjoy this exclusive clip from my show on Political Voices Network. I was a weekend radio host for a minute, Chris, but I got my full-time show pretty quick, so I looked down on him. Okay.
You were weekdays on CNBC.
Yes, I was a weekday host.
You were.
Here we are with the He-Man Woman Haters Club, right? Yeah. Women shouldn't serve in combat. I mean, here we are. It's by awful. The way, you're a fantastic podcast partner, and our friend Allison Gill said, if you voted for Donald, don't you dare thank a veteran for their service today. You voted to eliminate VA hospitals and clinics, slash benefits for disabled veterans, and to eliminate veteran jobs in the federal workforce. You are not welcome for our service. It literally feels like waking up in 18, I don't even know what year, doesn't it? 16.
It does. And I think they're going to take as much as they can from this country, and then they're going to cut and run. They're going to do it as long as they can, or as long as until we literally do a revolution with the people, because this is a mess. But we know what's going to happen. They don't care about anyone in this country. They only care about themselves, and making billions, literally billions of dollars.
That's correct. Mm-hmm. Chris, who said I'll give you the truth about why I'm not speaker? It's because of one person, a member of Congress, wanted me to stop an ethics complaint because he slept with a 17-year-old. That member is Matt Gaetz. Who said that?
Betty Rubble.
No, that was Kevin McCarthy, who says Matt Gaetz will not get confirmed. Oh, another sweet summer child. Dana, we've been talking all morning.
By the way, Senator Durbin is demanding...
they release the ethics. Yeah. Well, how many sentences have started with Senator Durbin demands? How about this one?
Oh, wow.
How about this one? Elizabeth Warren tweets, Donald Trump and his transition team are already breaking the law. Another sweet summer child. I would know because I wrote the law. Incoming president is required to prevent conflicts of interest and sign an ethics agreement. This is what illegal corruption looks like. I mean, Dana, the question is going to be, who's going to do anything about it? Attorney General Matt Gaetz?
I agree with you. It's a lot of it feels like we're doing everything for naught. Elizabeth Warren is at least going to be head of banking and all of the things that oversee that in the United States government now. At least someone's going to be pushing back. I don't know if it's going to help. I don't mean to be like, throw up hands in the air. We're not going to do that. We're going to keep fighting. But some of these things we're not going to be able to do anything about.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we can only do what we can do, and I'm glad we have fighters like, Elizabeth Warren there. But I mean,
thank God.
Dana, we've just been talking about all the headlines going to make your head explode. Aaron Rupar said, we played the audio earlier. Uncommitted Michigan delegate on CNN pleads with President Biden to do something about Netanyahu before Trump and Mike Huckabee complete an ethnic cleansing campaign of the West Bank. I don't even know. John Pavlovitz said last week Jill Stein voters reminded us why sometimes stupidity is permanent. I don't even know what to say anymore about
Jill Stein went right back into the hole she crawled out of every 4 years. Haven't heard from her about how we're going to help the West Bank that they're about to level so that Kushner can build on it. Like, it's just awful.
Stephen Beschloss, who we're going to have on next week, said Vladimir Putin has never laughed so hard. Good work, Donald. The boss could not be more pleased. Yep. I mean, this is what I was saying, Dan. Nothing's hidden anymore. Tulsi Gabbard is a known Russian asset. I mean,
absolutely.
I keep saying it. The enemy has taken us without a shot, and it's I have no idea. I don't think any of us can guess what happens next.
And we don't want to sound all doomsday. I know y'all don't listen to this for us to bring you down, but we're also want to be very realistic right now. Like, this is not good. What's going on is not good. It's crazy pants.
Yeah. I love this. Randy Mayhem Singer said, celebrating Thune over Scott, we have now entered the rooting for the nicer fascists stage of grief. It's like, he's not so bad. I mean, Marco Rubio's a spineless worm, but oh well.
Could be worse.
Could be raining.
I mean, a lot of people, I think, were surprised by that. Out of all three people, Cornyn, Thune, and Scott actually voted with Trump the least amount of all three of them.
I mean,
and with Biden, the most amount of all three of them. Like, the whole thing is bizarre.
And
I have no idea how that vote happened.
We maybe just sit back.
That's what I feel right now inside.
You know what I keep saying? It's from my bowels. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
No, what I keep saying, Dana, all we can do is what you're doing. all the good work that we've all tried to do is just take care of yourself, take care of other people that you can, build your strength. And maybe, we're going to just watch them implode. There's already all this infighting. Maga's going crazy over the Marco Rubio, Bobby Kennedy's going nuts over the Marco Rubio. You know what I mean? Everybody, all MAGA. Oh my God, MAGA was targeting Thune and the other, right?
Yeah.
And their families. They were like going after the other Senate candidates who weren't Rick Scott, and so they're already this bag of rats. That like we should just sit back and take care of what you can take care of. I mean,
I think it's interesting that MTG hasn't been put up for anything, and it has Boebert. I can't tell what's real and
I
what's
don't know
not
if that's
anymore.
a joke that the Department of Education.
It's a joke.
It's a joke.
Okay, but
so far it is.
I thought Matt Gaetz was a joke.
So far
He
it's a
probably
joke.
is going to put one of them in charge of the department and then abolish it.
There you go.
So they're going to be back where they started.
To my point about taking care of, you said that you tweeted in Trump's own words, he's pushing to define a family as a mother, father, and child. If you're in a same-sex marriage, especially if you have children, please take the next 2 months to put all the protections you can in place to legally protect your family. There's that. I mean, by the way, and humor, someone said J.D. Vance will be the first vice president to have a beard in nearly 100 years and the first millennial vice president. And you said, and her name is Usha. And you said that. You just laughed.
I mean, come on.
He wears
There's
a
so
lot
many
of
stories.
guyliner. And Peter Thiel's his buddy.
There's more than one story about a guy going out on a date with someone named James back in the day. Like this isn't things we're just, making up about. There's people that have said they've gone out on a date with JD Vance back before he changed his name. And there's nothing wrong if you decide you're in one lane and not the other, but we've always talked about this. It's the hypocrisy. Do whatever you want behind closed doors as long as you're not hurting children or animals, in my opinion. But don't pass legislation trying to hurt the communities you tinkled in for a little bit.
By the way, speaking of the bag of
Sorry,
rats.
it's probably tinkle.
Oh.
I have no
Yeah,
idea.
that's not tinkle.
Speaking of the bag of rats, Mother Jones.
As long as there's consent.
Exactly.
Yeah, whatever golden shower you're
Right.
into.
How long before Putin releases the Golden Showers tape? There might be maybe a silver line. It would be like a yellow lining.
Golden lining.
Yeah, yellow lining,
Yeah.
right. Mother Jones magazine said, how long before Elon Musk gets kicked out of Mar-a-Lago? The tech billionaire is reportedly irritating Trump insiders who say Musk is everywhere you turn, from the resort's gift shop to nearly every meal with Trump. Why? It seems like Musk can't escape the essential fabric of being a deeply unlikable personality. And then yesterday, I don't know if you saw it, Trump said, Elon won't go home. I can't get rid of him, at least until I don't like him. Has he not seen every story of every person that is loyal to Donald Trump and gets thrown overboard at some point?
It's going to happen. As much as he is beholden to these people because they've purchased him, his ego is not going to let them control him completely. It's just not Putin, sure, because I think Putin could have him easily killed. But these other people are just, I think people are going to get fired. He's going to replace one fascist with another. We'll see what happens. It's going to be a clown show.
Yeah. Oh, my God. Jojo from Jersey, our friend, said the same mag idiots who tell me that I don't have the right to talk about the military because I didn't serve just put in a 5-time draft dodger who mocked military service and tried to gut the VA back into the White House. I mean, at the end of the day, Dana, nothing about this election makes sense. People voting for their abortion rights while voting for the rapists that took away their abortion rights. It's.
The cognitive dissonance in this country is mind-blowing to me right now, if it was all legit. And also, and that I feel very strongly about this, no matter what your opinion is of trans women in sport, I'm not going to argue with you, but I will say this. If you're not fighting for them to keep the Department of Education, you don't care about women in sport at all, because it will get rid of Title IX, and it's going to. So there's not going to be any women's sports to worry about. So if you're not arguing for the Department of Education to stay in place, you really don't care about girls' sports at all. You're just a bigot.
What's my favorite? I'm going to quote American president. But Sidney Allen Wade said, voters care about, someone said voters care about, and she said, voters care about what I tell them to care about at election time. They spent $150 million to convince you that trans people are a huge problem in your life when they're 0.00001% of the population. So it's,
and trans people have always been here, and this was not an issue 10 years ago. There was marriage equality was an issue, but they tried to do this before. I do work with the Gill Foundation. They tried to do this whole trans girls in sports as a threat years ago, and it never caught. It didn't get any traction. And then someone decided to bring it back up, and somehow this time it did.
Yeah.
It's just really unfortunate.
Ron tweets, I guess Hedgeseth finally gave up on trying to convince Fox he's competent to host his own show, so he had to settle for Secretary of Defense. This is where we are. It's not good enough to be a weekday. Okay. By the way, oil giant, just you were wondering if we've gotten ridiculous enough. Oil giant ExxonMobil opposes Trump's plans to pull out of the Paris Climate Agreement. Black Knight said, if Exxon's telling us he's going to destroy the planet, we are cooked.
Yeah.
ExxonMobil's. Sorry, Dana, go ahead.
No, I'm with you. All you can do is laugh at that point. I'm with you 100%. There's nothing else other than humor there. It's craziness.
Your friend in ours, Mary Trump, said the media wants to blame Kamala Harris. They should take a look in the mirror. And I thought Gary Kasparov, Malcolm Nance retweeted him. He said the point of modern propaganda isn't only to misinform or push an agenda, it's to exhaust your critical thinking, to annihilate truth. And that's not going to stop, by the way.
Right.
Because the election's over.
Not at all. And it's one of the reasons why you and I are not leaving Twitter. I'm not going to let this be some sort of an echo chamber for fascism with no one pushing back against it. It's just absurd.
Yeah. Do you hear that, Tom? These two bulimic ditch lickers are staying.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. He called Bob Seska, what, a bone smoker?
Bone smoker.
Bob's straight. Doesn't matter. Okay. Dean Novadala said Trump's tariffs are 100% going to cause the economy to crater. Thanks to Trump's tariffs, Democrats will win the House and Senate in 2026 on our way to taking the White House in 2028. Possibly. I mean, that's the other thing. People don't understand. Nothing's forever. My dad only won 6, and Goldwater won 6 states. Reagan, Walter Mondale won 1 state. I mean, we have had actual landslides before and come back,
I hope that's the case. I just praying that all of our elections moving forward aren't some performative Russian backed, theatrical presentation.
Yeah. Just say
That's
niet.
all I can hope.
Just say niet to that.
Yeah, it's just all I can hope.
Julie in Portland, you're on with Dana. Hello, Julie.
Hi. First of all, I have to say I love you all, and I've been listening to you from the very beginning.
Thank you.
And I've kind of, I don't know, this whole thing is horrific, but I think we've been a mess in this country really since the beginning, and I'm wondering if what happened is how it needed to happen. And that helps me to focus more on, because all the things you're talking about, I'm somebody who pays attention and has been a political activist, and there's just so much going wrong. And so if I can focus on, okay, we're kind of getting the government we deserve, and not all of us, but we allowed this to happen, and I think it's time, and we depend on our representatives, but it's time for we the people to stand the F up.
I mean, it's going to be a lot of pain, Julie, for a lot of us, but, it's like, as one person tweeted that said, I'm one of those liberal elites that they hate so much, and guess what? I'm going to be able to afford stuff no matter what. You're not, they're not.
Yeah.
I mean, I know you did this to own the libs, but you're going to find out that we were fighting for you too, and
Exactly. And we are it's like we know that straight white men have ruled, and I know that people in the minority, people that are on the outsides and not being represented, for them, I think some of this, it feels like a Tuesday. Like if you're brown in this country, or if you're an immigrant, or you're identify yourself as transgender, whatever, then you haven't ever really been treated like you deserve to be treated. And it's time for those of us who can stand up and speak out and have the resources, whatever that might be, to really just step it up and make sure that you're involved in local elections. It's like, wake up.
Yeah. Well,
and the people, like you're saying, the people who are, I mean, I'm actually just calling them stupid. And if they're in the government, they're stupid cowards. And there's not much that I can help you with there. Like you're gonna, you effed around and you're gonna find out.
Yeah, well, that's it.
Sorry,
Julie, thank you. I love you too. Oh,
that's
she
okay.
does love the F word. Oh, well, then
We love
get
it
the
too.
Happy Hour podcast from
Yes.
Monday with me and JoJo from Jersey. Okay,
Happy Hour Extra.
Yes, wait, no, it was Tuesday. It was literally Tuesday because I saw her next Tuesday.
That's right.
Next
And it's
Tuesday.
a Happy Hour Extra podcast.
Yeah. There you go,
Yes.
from Tuesday. Boy, the let it all burn people are gonna get their wish, Dana. I mean, it's not gonna be
They
pretty,
really are.
but
No. And Julie, if you wouldn't mind somehow recording a story on the Calm app, you have an incredible voice that I think would put a lot of
Yes.
people at ease in this country.
Absolutely.
You know what? I could
So
use.
thank you for calling in.
I could use some alternatives on the Comac because the sound of rain is, as Chris knows, very stressful for me because I always have. I'm the old lady that lives in a colander. I have leaks everywhere, so the sound of rain is incredibly stressful to me.
They have forest noises too.
Oh, okay. Everything stresses me out now.
A babbling brook.
Do you have a
Green
story
noise?
about someone's building a new roof on a building? Do you have that? That'll put me
Rainproof
right to bed.
roof.
Hey all, Glenn Kirshner here. I hope you'll join me on my new audio podcast, Justice Matters. I'll be using my 30 years as a federal prosecutor and Army JAG to unpack, break down, and explain the legal issues of the day, particularly where the legal intersects with the political. Please look for Justice Matters with Glenn Kirshner wherever you generally get your podcasts.